Hello and welcome back to the channel. My name's Alex, we're with 4 Elements Press, and today we're doing a little bit of a tea therapy tea tasting. Today we're going to be tasting the Jam Ambassador from Mayleaf. And Jam Ambassador is a Gushu Pu'er tea, which it's a raw Gushu Pu'er, which means that it is a tea that is picked and pretty much dried for aging. Now, teas that are considered gushu would be teas that are from trees 200 years or older. On the cover, there is a little sheep with some jam, selling jam at a little farm stand. And with Mayleaf, a lot of the times, the art has a lot to do with the flavor of the tea. I'm just going to get the water going. And we're going to bring the water up to around 205 Fahrenheit. That seems to be a sweet spot for pu'ers especially. Now each tea type does have a different temperature that it shines at. From like 175 for green teas up to 210 you can go Fahrenheit for pu'ers, and also ripe pu'ers, which are more fermented. Now for this tea, I'm going to start getting some out right now. It is packed into a cake. It is a April 2022 tea. So it is a spring-picked tea. It's of the cultivar Daizong. The origin is Jingmai and Bada in Yunnan, China. The picking and processing is the bud and up to the third leaf. So we can get a look at the actual tea cake here. And then the elevation of the tea trees is approximately between 1,400 and 1,500 meters above sea level. Now that we've gone through a little bit about the tea, let's talk a little bit about the artwork. So we have jam all over. It's a little sheep selling the jam. So I have tried this tea before, and it is very sweet, very delicious. It has like a jammy texture to the tea, and what that means is it gets to a point where you almost want to start chewing it. It's that jammy. It has those like drying, tingling sensations when you get a really good strawberry jam that's a little bit preserved down. And I am also going to be brewing in a Mayleaf pot. It is the Mayleaf silver tipped teapot. The silver tip is no longer, but the effects that this pot and this clay has on the tea is pretty incredible. And through 4 Elements Press, in partnership with Tea Therapy, New Jersey, this is going to be a regular conversation that we're going to be having in video format to really take the time to connect with you guys and let you know what we're doing on our end at 4 Elements Press, keep you up to date, and also have a space for others to be involved in something other than maybe writing. And reading. Tea often accompanies a lot of those types of activities, and it's no wonder why. Tea is a great stimulant, it is a great relaxer, and there's something about tea that puts you in a mind space for creativity and also for other things like peace. Tea in China and other places of the world is used as an herb as powerful as other medicines, to the point where it's prescribed and enjoyed by people who might be battling things like addiction or who are looking to slow down in life and start to connect. And tea offers that in a personal experience, but also in a group experience. Tea is something that's meant to be shared, and the culture of it comes alive when you get to enjoy the tea, taste the tea with others, discuss it, and even find joy in it and in the experience. Now, in terms of raw pu'er, that is what tea therapy is focusing on. With trees that are hundreds of years old, there are root systems that go into many different parts of the ground and pull up all these minerals, nutrients, everything from the whole terroir of the area. So if that's like fruit trees, if that's evergreen trees, the tea tree, the tea plant, and the tea roots are going to be pulling in all these different compounds and feeding them into the leaves. And what the pu'er production process, and even in the aging, so this tea is a 2022 tea, the compounds start to break down and they start to produce other like aromas, other flavor profiles. So this tea I might have tasted a few months ago, but coming back to it can be like a whole different experience. And that's part of the tea philosophy that I want to focus on and also share. I'm going to warm up the teapot here. So in tea, and there are philosophies written about tea from places like China, Japan, Korea, and others. But one of the greatest things about tea, and especially about pu'er, and just the art of sharing tea, is that there's one cup, one meeting, and one experience that can never be repeated. It's unique. You might drink tea with the same company, you might drink the same tea, but even at a different time, you yourself are not the same. The tea is constantly changing. The people that you are meeting are constantly changing. The world outside of the tea room is constantly changing. And we're all responding and reacting to our environments in the same way that tea does. And the generations of farmers who have been crafting these teas understand that and live by that message, because they're considering everything that they're doing as part of the environment of the tea, which is true because there is a human element in tea production. It's not just you pick it off the tree and it tastes like tea. You can't brew like a raw leaf and have it taste like tea. It takes withering, which is the process of exuding some of the moisture in the tea as it dries. How it dries, if it's a rainy day, if it's a sunny day, if it's in the sun, if it's in a room. The smell off the wet leaf here in the cup or still dry leaf in the pot is incredible. Strawberry jam. The real, like, dry, crusty, jelly-like strawberry jam, like, on the lid of the jar. You take that and you smell it. With a brightness. And it doesn't smell bitter at all. It's very just sweet, very strawberry. I'm gonna get the water back up to 205 and hit it with some. Alright, so I'm gonna hit it with the water here. Now all of these parameters go into dialing in how we're brewing the tea. So first, the amount of leaf that we used, the temperature of the water, the amount of time that we let the tea steep. Now, when you're using larger portions of leaves like we are, and we're brewing in such a little pot, so the amount of water is another parameter. Now, for the first infusion for a pu'er, it's typically considered a rinse. Tea drinkers, tea sellers, tea enthusiasts will dump it on like a tea pet. And what that does is, get some of the dust off the leaves, cleans the infusions, the next infusions up a little bit. But I'm not afraid of the dust. So, on the wet leaf now, you can see the smells a little bit more green, maybe more like the raw strawberries where the stem is growing, if you smell that. But with a deep underlying sweetness. So we'll see how that transfers over into the infusion. And you can notice here some little hairs in the brew, which come off the buds. And those hairs provide a little bit of texture to the tea when you're drinking. But as you brew through the infusions and the leaves get rinsed pretty much by the water, they should start dwindling down. So immediately, the texture and the flavor come through. Now, usually on the first infusion of a raw pu'er like this, you might not get much of the flavor notes. You might get a very soft in flavor but elegant brew. And in the first infusion, typically the texture of the liquor is what is really the highlight. Now the texture on this tea is medium thick and a little bit sweet and cooling on the tongue. Now, the flavor of this tea does come through really well, and it comes through as kind of like a creamed strawberry, like strawberry drizzle or strawberry jam mixed into whipped cream. But not a super sweet whipped cream, more of like a light kind of whipped cream icing. And the smell of the wet leaf is still very candied strawberry sugar, with that minerality of like the preserved strawberry as well. So in, let's say, a tea tasting experience, we'd be able to really dive into each infusion. So I'm going to brew up the second infusion, and what we can expect from the second infusion will be different from what we got from the first infusion. Sometimes the infusions can give very different flavors. Sometimes they can kind of enhance the flavors that are already there. So every time we hit the leaf with water, we're releasing more compounds. We're opening the door for more compounds to be extracted. As the leaves get more moist and as other flavors go, other ones will inherently be more highlighted. And now, even with the first infusion, I'm starting to get a very sweet and cooling sensation on my tongue. Almost like maybe I had some powdered sugar and it's all dissolved away now, but I still have that little spot on my tongue where I can still feel it. You can see the bubbles also that are produced from the liquor. And the longer they kind of hold on the surface, it shows more of the different compounds that are inside the tea. So like pectin, which I think is an amino acid. So amino acids are in tea, as well as catechins. So catechins would make them a little bit more bitter. The amino acids would make them more savory and umami. Berry. Fruit. Like a berry juice. Yeah, like a mixed berry juice that's not too sweet. And that has a little bit of that bitterness. But sweet bitterness. So going through all the infusions in a setting like a tea tasting, whereas if it were led or self-directed, you can go through each infusion, see how the tea reacts throughout the different infusions, see how the flavors change, the aromas change. But also, there's another sensation that comes with pu'er, and it's the body sensation, and with drinking any tea, really. Not only is it on the tongue and in the mouth, and a lot of the times that sensation will carry on throughout the day, and you'll get like tastes of it later on. But I'm starting to get a little hot from the first infusion. The sweats are starting to come. Now that's a symptom of the power of this type of tea. Another effect could be like burps, little burps. So as the tea's playing around with your, well, as the bacteria and stuff from the tea and the compounds are interacting with your gut, you're gonna feel it. You're gonna feel a fullness, a warmth, a slight gurgle. The mineralities increased slightly. So very full on strawberry preserve. No more fresh strawberries. No more creamy whip. We're almost in the jungle with like the big palm frond leaves that keep everything just a little bit moist underneath. Maybe like a green banana type aroma. With the rock sugary strawberryness. Strawberry jam. That makes you want to chew. So nearly through 2 infusions, and I'm genuinely hot. I feel the perspiration like on my lower back, my upper neck here. A little bit under the arms. It's really incredible how quickly it changes your body sensation. And now, if we're thinking about what a session would look like, one or a few of these teas with a few friends, tasting the different infusions, feeling the effects, relaxing, being embracing the aromas, the sounds, the sensations, the tastes, the aromas. What tea does is really awaken you to life. Life in a few leaves from forests hundreds of years old, like forests older than humanity. And so what we are doing with Four Elements Press, we're looking forward to putting out the first book in an upcoming series that is yet to be discussed. There's a little burp. So that's the tea working. we are looking at putting out a Queer Voices Anthology, where we're hoping to feature 10, 15, maybe 20 queer voices per anthology, and we're going to do that semi-annually. And that is really to help queer writers take their craft to the next level, to have a chance at getting published, and have a chance at working with myself and a couple of other authors, editors, in order to open up a space and to create an audience for queer literature. There aren't enough out there, and we're hoping to fill that void and to find maybe the next novel writer for Four Elements Press as well. Now, we have a contribution page where you can contribute to the anthology, and what the contributions do is they help us produce the work, put all the work that needs to go into it, and also keep costs low for the authors who will be looking to us for guidance in producing the short story. We're looking to produce the short stories in more of a collaborative way to help writers grow their craft and to give that professional input and feedback that will take not only their story to the next level, but their writing in general, and take their careers to the next level. So I'm going to have the link to the contribution page below. There are different tiers, so if you are tiered into any of the categories, we will reach out, and in the anthology itself we'll have a page dedicated to the contributors. And we are also expanding Four Elements Press to offer subscriptions to some of our most loyal members, and anyone can sign up for each specific tier, starting they are going to involve the 4 elements, so water, earth, air, fire, and maybe an enlightened contributor tier as well, because that's the goal here. We're all trying to reach enlightenment, even if that means peace in a cup. So keep an eye out for those exciting updates. Please be sure to like and subscribe to this channel. Share it with your friends on social. Tell them about our press in person. Check out some of our books. We're building this community to have our audience involved. Thank you guys so much for watching, and until next time, cheers.